Good evening and welcome to BBC News. The government has published draft legislation that will allow the UK to start the process of leaving the EU. The European Union bill has been produced after the Supreme Court ruled legislation would be necessary. Jeremy Corbyn has ordered Labour MPs to back the bill, which will give Theresa May the power to trigger Brexit under Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty. May has promised to do this by March. The government was forced to draw up the legislation after losing a Supreme Court appeal on Tuesday, when judges ruled that Parliament must give permission to start the process.
By a majority of 8 to 3, the Supreme Court rules that the government cannot trigger Article 50 without an Act of Parliament authorising it to do so.
The bill is due to be debated by MPs on Tuesday and clear the Commons on the 8th of February. It will then move to the House of Lords. Corbyn said Labour MPs would face a 3-line whip to back the bill. He understood the pressures and issues members faced, but called on them to unite on the important issues and not to block Article 50. Frontbenchers are expected to resign if they defy the whip. On Wednesday, Prime Minister Theresa May also will set out more details of the Brexit plan. MPs have urged Mr Davies to publish the document before the Article 50 bill passes through Parliament. He said the question involves slightly separate issues. The bill was about carrying out the will of the British people, adding that the white paper would be published as expeditiously as possible. The Lib Dems will oppose Article 50 unless there is a guarantee of another referendum on the final deal.
The right way to finish this, you started with democracy last June, we should not end with a stitch-up sometime in the next year or so.
While the SNP has vowed to table 50 amendments on the legislation. Mr Davies also disagreed with EU Commissioner Michael Barnier's view that trade talks would have to be handled separately from the Article 50 negotiations, as such an approach would be not practical, adding that he wanted all negotiations to be completed inside 2 years. This has been Rhodri Davies reporting for BBC News, Westminster.